Hello students, and welcome to Education 1300, our Learning Framework class, and welcome to our Blackboard Ultra shell. So what I'd like to do in this tutorial video is just give you an overview of how you're going to go about navigating this course and how you navigate Blackboard Ultra, especially in the first week. So first things first, just please know that when you watch this video, you're looking at this site in terms of the instructor's view. So your view is going to look slightly different as the student. The basic difference is that I'm going to have everything that I'm going to introduce to you over the course of the semester up. So you're going to see multiple folders, but your view right now, you're only going to see the start here and the week 1 folder in this course content section. So please, anything extra that you see right now, pretty much just ignore. We'll get to it as the semester progresses. So I'm going to walk you through the area that's labeled course content, and I'm also going to walk you through what appears up here on the top right. We're just going to call it our menu. So for this first week of classes, please take all the time and energy you need to really read everything that you see, especially in the Start Here folder, because it's going to give you a great grounding for the semester. That said, please also know that the Start Here folder is going to appear all throughout the semester till the last week of classes until the class ends, but the weekly folders will come and go. So right now you'll see the week 1 folder because what? It's week 1. The next week when week 2 is available, it'll pop up and the week 1 folder will go away. Week 3 folder will appear, and then of course the week 2 folder will appear. So all semester long you'll always see the Start Here and another weekly folder. Right now, let's go ahead and click the down arrow on the Start Here, and you'll see a bunch of information pops out. And that's what's going to happen in every single one of these folders. Now, it looks a little overwhelming because, of course, it's the first week, but some of this information is not critical right now. So you'll see the first 3 items. We are going to be spending a great deal of time looking in those folders. The next 3, the Blackboard Help, College Services and Resources, and Privacy and Accessibility, those are for you to get help with services at the college. So if you need anything, that's what those resources are for. And the last 2 that I've provided relate back to the top 3 folders that actually deals with your textbook a little bit, which I'll explain as we get into those folders. So let's talk about what's in the Welcome folder. When you go in there, there's going to be a welcome video to this class. There's obviously this navigating the Blackboard course video that you're watching right now, and there's information about me. So spend some time getting introduced to the class, and then the next 2 items are critically important, and we're going to start with the syllabus. Actually, we're going to start with the 3rd one. So if you click on that folder and you go in, you're going to see our syllabus available in 2 versions, and you can download those and print them off. They're the same. There's also a calendar. It is a tentative calendar, but I try to stick to it as much as possible. There may be some slight deviations as the semester progresses where I add an article or a video, or I take a video or an article away. And then there's a little bit of inspiration and message about advice about time and how much time you should be spending in class studying and how much time you should be attending class. So you might want to watch that video. So again, the critical information about the syllabus, and the syllabus has all of the guidelines for the entire semester about my office hours, about how the course is run, how the course weeks run. It gives the grading policy, the objectives, so a lot of critical information in that syllabus. In addition, if you go into the essential course information, it kind of piggybacks on the syllabus. So we actually have information from the syllabus that we pull and put here. And you know you're in the right section when you're greeted with the mouse, with the parachute, and it has our course mantra, which is the mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work unless it's open. So definitely open mind in life, and of course when you're learning. So you've got some information here about, what this course is about and our outcomes for the course. And then you'll get down to the photo that shows you our textbook and other required materials for the class, and also just a little bit about netiquette, about how you behave in an online environment. So please read all of that. And then you get to the very important section that stands out with that big red question mark. What do you need to know? So these are actually pulled directly from the syllabus, and you can see there are a series of guidelines about how our class works. Please read those once, twice, 3 times if you need to, just to make sure that you're on the same page as I am, so we don't have any kinds of miscommunications as the semester progresses. If you don't understand any one of these, please email me, message me, ask me right from the get-go. Also, I give you some expectations that I have for you, and hopefully some expectations that you have for me. When I'm available for office hours, when I respond, when I post work, how I do grading, all of that is here. So please take some time to read it. So all of this information, again, guys, is in that Start Here folder. Okay, when you're finished with that, you're going to move on to the Week 1 folder. Okay, now most weeks you're just going to directly go to whatever week folder and open it. But this week, of course, the first week's a little different. We have to familiarize ourselves with the course and how the Blackboard structure works. So when you click the down arrow for Week 1, again, all of this information opens. And the first thing that you're going to do every week is you're going to go to the first document that says Weekly Overview, Course Learning Outcomes, To-Do List, and Deadlines. And that is just a critical piece for the class. You can read this, you can read it several times, you can print it off as your checklist, but it will always look exactly the same. There's going to be a paragraph introducing you, kind of an overview of the class. You're going to have the entire course's four learning outcomes, which will appear on every single one of these pages. And then you'll have the weekly learning objectives, which mean what are you supposed to know and be able to do after this week concludes? If we've done these things, you've learned what you're supposed to learn, okay? And then there's a to-do list. And the to-do list for the first week looks a little intimidating, but it's not, because the whole first part, we already talked about it. It's what you're supposed to do in the Start Here folder. And then when you actually launch into Week 1, the things you're supposed to watch in terms of videos, the things you're supposed to read, and the things you're supposed to do. Then that to-do list is always kind of broken down specifically. What are you supposed to read? What are you supposed to do for points? And what videos are you supposed to watch? Okay. And in here, if there's ever something to read that's outside of the textbook, you're going to have an opportunity to click on it and it will take you there. So you can see right here, one of the things I want you to read is my professional biography. So if you click on that, it's actually going to go to my biography. So it will be a clickable link, which is really a nifty feature, right? And then the same is true of the videos. I'm not going to click on any of these videos because I don't want them to play while I'm talking to you. But for example, right now you're watching this Navigating Our Blackboard Ultra class. So if you click on this link, it's going to take you directly to my YouTube channel where the video is posted. Okay. Now the assignments are also listed here, but you'll notice they're not clickable links, and I'll show you where those are in just a second. Okay. Sometimes I have some notes, a little bit of kind of announcements telling you about a quiz or something that's going on at the college. You have the deadlines for the class, when it opens, when it closes, and then at the very bottom there will always be an inspirational quote. Okay, so we've covered all of the things that you need to do mostly on this page except the assignments. So if you'll notice, when we go back to the Week 1 folder and we went through that weekly overview, what follows are all the things that you're required to do for points. And it varies from week to week, but usually you have a discussion post, some form of an activity, 1 or 2 Padlets, a quiz, and the quizzes are timed, and they also require a Respondus Lockdown browser, so keep that in mind. And I always put in the Pronto instant message link where you can instant message with me and or your classmates so we can help you right away. Okay, so every week is going to look exactly like that. Although you all aren't going to see Week 2, I'm going to go ahead and open it so you can see it looks exactly the same. You're going to have the weekly overview that you'll click on and it will look exactly the same. Paragraph descriptor, the outcomes, the to-do list, and then it'll be divided to things that you can click on and read, or videos you can click on and watch, and then the actual assignments. You'll always end with the deadline and a quote. So very similar, and then what you do for graded points follows. So it's really that simple. The only other things that I want to point out are the little menu items up here at the top. The first one is the course content, which you've already been there. You've already seen everything there. The second one is the calendar, which is really nice for keeping track. Of course, in this class, everything is due Sunday at noon. So if you'll notice, every Sunday, the things that are due in your class will appear. In my screen, they're appearing in purple. The third tab on the menu is the discussions. So you notice I mentioned the discussions were a graded component of this class, and you can see all of the discussions for the class appear here. Of course, you aren't going to see them all. That's why you see hidden from students until we get to that actual week. There are, however, 3 of the discussions that are open, and that's for you to ask questions if you need some help from me or your classmates. One of them's on content from the class, one of them's on your service learning project, and one of them is about technology problems, okay? So you can access the discussions through here, the menu, or directly in your class. The fourth little menu item up there is the gradebook, a very important item, okay? So here is where you're going to be able to check your grades. You'll see your overall grade as we progress in the course, and then you'll see each individual activity, and eventually there will be points assigned, and you'll see feedback from me. Make sure, I always give feedback, make sure you click on that to receive your feedback. Okay, and lastly, we have the messages icon, the email icon. So if you ever need help, again, you can write by clicking on this plus sign, and you can write to me as the instructor, or you can write all of your classmates or some, and you can write for help, advice. If something's going on, you want to alert the class, you're more than welcome to send an email. This last item you won't see, it's about course statistics. So again, if you need any help in the class, guys, there are a lot of ways to get a hold of me. You can, of course, write in the discussions. You can send an email. In the weekly folder, you can actually send a pronto instant message. Remember that little feature that appears in each of the folders. And of course, remember that I'm available to you via phone. You can leave a message and I will get back with you. So that is an overview of our course, but please keep in mind that it's not just me and your classmates. Of course, we're part of your team, but you have the entire school for help. So if you encounter some technological problems and you need to contact Blackboard, if you need some help from other services at the college like financial aid, advising, counseling, keep in mind that we have this college services and resources folder. And in the end, we're all part of one big team to help each other. So let's have a fantastic semester, happy learning, and welcome to our course.